Hello, everybody. Welcome to Fruitful Trees. I visit many different tropical fruit farms, and I visit many people that have yards and have their own trees. And a lot of people here are wondering where they can get a tree. And there are several places I visit often that mail trees in the mail. So if you're in California, or if you're not exactly here in South Florida and you're somewhere else in the country and you want to get a fruit tree, or even if you're in South Florida and you just can't get down to these farms and you want a tree mailed to you, we're gonna go visit one of these farms and they're going to explain to you when they mail the tree how to take it out of the box and what to do with it. Now, this is Lara Farms, which we'll be visiting. This is Julian that's going to be on the show, and he's going to show you when you order a tree from him, how do you take care of it when it comes out of the box. The great information is this information applies to anywhere you buy a fruit tree. His advice in this video is golden. I mean, it's going to help you. I prefer you buy those trees from him because he's the one on the video giving you his tips and suggestions. His link is going to be below. But if you happen to have already, or if you do in the future, find a tree you want from somewhere else and you buy it in the mail, this information will help you as well. Thank you, Julian, for taking the time and the experience of showing us how to take care of a fruit tree that comes in the mail. And everybody I know that's gotten trees from you had just wonderful things to say. So thank you for the business that you create and for what you do and for many of these trees that came straight from you. Thank you for this helpful information. Everybody enjoy this. Here it goes.
When you receive a tree in the mail from me, like this, for example, let's use this. This is avocado. You can see the graft right here. Buddy tape is still on it. You don't have to take it off. You can just leave it on there. It comes off by itself. So you get your tree. It looks like this. And you take it out of the box. You take out the bamboo, the covering that I use to secure the soil. And then you say, okay, how often do I water this? And the answer is as needed. And what does that mean? As needed means you stick your finger in the dirt as deep as you can. And if it's wet, that means you don't water it. And another way to check is down here we have little holes. Some pots have them here on the side. Like, let me see, like for example, this sapodilla has holes in the side. You know, you stick your fingers in here and you say, hey, this is really wet. Doesn't need any water. Let's wait till it dries out a little bit. You can check up here. You can check up here too and say, hey, this is pretty dry. Let me check down here. Like, oh, wait, this is wet. So let's hold off and let's see how this feels later, or up here, depending on what the situation is. So basically my point is, don't overwater. Okay, people have, natural instinct is to water the tree, but you could be overwatering it and it can lead to root rot. Now, what are ways to prevent root rot? You can apply a fungicide to the roots, something like Abound. And that you can use about almost an ounce per gallon of water. You drench the tree, and you can do that to pretty much everything that's susceptible to root rot, or especially something that's newly planted, just to avoid any complications. But do you really need to do that? You may not. So the best way to prevent all that is stick your finger in the ground, see if it's wet. If it's wet, then you hold off and you check again and say, hey, this is significantly drier. Let's water it. If you want to kick it up a notch and spoil your tree when you water, when it's time to water, get some 20-20-20 fertilizers, that blue-green powder, or you can buy some all-purpose Miracle Grow at Home Depot if you can't find 20-20-20. And you use 2 tablespoons in a gallon of water, and you mix it up really good, and you give something this size about 3 or 4 cups out of the gallon. And you go to the next tree and you give it another 3 or 4 cups. And you can do that every time it needs water because it won't burn it, and you'll get some really good results. Especially you'll start seeing results in like 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks. So that's how I like to water and take care of the tree, especially for someone who just received a tree from me in the mail. Now, some people want to step it up to a bigger pot, right? And they're like, Julian, should I step it up to a bigger pot? Well, some trees that come about this big, I think could use a slightly larger pot. Nothing massive. Some people put them in a really extremely big pot, put it right in the middle, and the moisture from the soil, from the potting soil, never dries. So what you want is a little cycle of wet, dry, wet, dry. So you have good drainage and the roots are not constantly wet. And that helps it grow. So when it's receiving water, it's receiving fresh water. And that's very important because stagnant water that doesn't go away will rot the roots, no matter how much fungicide you put on it. So what do we put after this? What size pot do we put after this? We put a 3-gallon, which is slightly larger. This is a 1 gallon, so you can step it up to a 2.5 or a 3-gallon. So that way it can dry, and then you can water it with fresh water.
What's the largest gallon you ship?
3 gallons.
3 gallons.
Yeah, hopefully 7 gallons in the future. Anything after that, you're going to need a special delivery truck to take it over
Should
there.
people keep it in the sun or the shade when they get it?
I would keep it in the shade, and or you can put it out in the sun for like the early morning, like the morning till like midday, and then that really intense sun from the midday, bring in the tree to the shade under a tree, and then bring it back out into the full sun like after 5 o'clock or something. You have like mild sunlight, and then little by little starts acclimating, and it starts shooting off new growth, and that new growth will be acclimated to the full sun. Some people just put it in the middle of the sun, leave it out there all day, and they get burned a little bit, and then they flush, and then that new flush is acclimated. And you know, some people get upset when their leaf burns from the sun, but it's a normal process, and they outgrow the damage.
How long before an avocado tree like that will can go in the ground?
I will let it grow like maybe like 4 inches more, and then tie a bamboo to it, and then put it in the ground.
Okay, and then how long from that can you expect fruit?
You'll be surprised. I've had fruit off trees this size before, but the question is, you know, how soon? I would say 2 years. 2 years until you start seeing some really good results. I mean, I can show you this mango. It's already wanting to flower.
Wow.
And I can show you mangoes this big with a fruit on it, but it's too stressful. So it's better to take off the mango and let it, you know, grow for 1 or 2 years and focus on growing. And then when it's big enough to hold 10, 20 fruits, then that's when you let it fruit.
Now, in some of these pots, you have some, what is that? The purple stuff.
This is a slow release fertilizer that lasts for about 6 months, and it's really good.
So do you recommend it for when you're receiving your trees like this? Do you include that in there, or do you recommend people do that?
Well, almost all these trees have it mixed in with the soil.
All right.
But I recommend that you use 20-20-20 or all-purpose Miracle-Gro for all your trees, especially when you're watering them. Mix it with the water. And for this kind of stuff, this is for like a large-scale operation. I mean, it can't be going one by one, you know, giving 20-20-20 to each one of these trees. So we just go really fast, sprinkle this on here, and it does the job. But it's expensive, and but it does the job again. So if you want to use this, they call it NutriCoat. It's the purple stuff from NutriCoat, and I think you can get that online pretty much anywhere.
All right, everybody, that was Julian from Lara Farms teaching us how to take care of a fruit tree we get in the mail. Not only in the mail, that advice is going to help you even if you just buy it from him directly from the farm, or any fruit tree from the farm. When you get it home, how often to water it, what size pot to grow in, and all that information. That was wonderful. Thank you, Julian. Everybody, get to his link below and check it out, and check out his selection of fruit trees and what he has. And until then, everybody, subscribe if you like these videos, and keep growing.